Hey guys, it's Helly, the best friend you deserve, and in today's video I'm going to tell you about the world's best life-changing books. This is not going to be a generic video featuring books like Alchemist and The Secret, because these books are recommended way too many times. Even I have talked about these books in the past. You can totally check out my previous videos for these. But in today's video, I really wanted to talk about books which are not usually represented in videos like these, so that you can get a large variety. And all the links to all the books will be in the description below. I also want to wish you all a very happy Diwali. And a small request will be not to burn any crackers, because especially because of COVID, a lot of people have very reduced lung capacities, and this is the least thing we can do for them. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into today's video. First book that I want to recommend is called Killing Commendator by Haruki Murakami, and a lot of you might be a bit disappointed that I'm recommending this book instead of other Murakami books, but hear me out. This is probably Murakami's most ambitious project, and no one enters the first page and leaves the last page as the same person ever. You might be disappointed, you might be aggravated, you might be disturbed, you might be confused, you might be puzzled, but you will have a lot of questions, a lot of answers, and a lot of thoughts that you probably didn't have before. This book follows the life of a very strange protagonist. He's sort of Gatsby-esque, to be honest. So if you have loved The Great Gatsby, you will like this, but it's different in a lot of ways too. There are very strange occurrences, like a strange well, and there's this girl who is probably the protagonist's daughter, but it's not really clear, and he really wants to talk to her, but he can't for certain reasons. He has very weird relationships throughout the book, and basically you can just describe Murakami books in one word: weird. But honestly, this book is going to change you in some sort of way if you happen to read it, which is why this will be my recommendation in today's video. But if you want to go for something simpler, because this book, at the end of the day, it's kind of hard for someone who's reading Murakami for the first time, then I would recommend that you go for something like Norwegian Wood or Sputnik Sweetheart, both by Murakami, which are simpler in the concept of their plots. So yeah, that will be my recommendation to start with. The next book that will change your mind is called Mindset by Carol Dweck. It basically deals with the two types of mindsets: growth mindset and fixed mindset. Most of us actually grow up with a fixed mindset because we see our parents, who mostly have a fixed mindset. Everything that our parents have learned from their elders, they kind of imbibe it and they take it as ultimate truth, and they also expect us to take it as ultimate truth. And honestly, I think we as a generation are more rebellious, but still a lot of things in us too, we are very fixed. So when we hear something for the first time, we kind of give it advantage over everything else because that was the first thing we knew. And there are so many things that our parents teach us, that society teaches us, that we just can't let go of unless we have a growth mindset. So this book is really going to change you as a person, and it's also going to help you locate all the fallacies of reasoning that are there in the whole world, and how you can overcome them and become a better person and become a better human being and achieve better levels of success in life. It's very important to have a growth mindset if you want to have the best life that you've ever envisioned. And yeah, that's why I would recommend this book to you. I'll highly recommend this book even if you are a beginner to reading. The next book is a fiction book, and this book is called Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I loved this book when I read it. I read it during a 24-hour readathon. So if you guys don't know me for a long time, I used to do a lot of 24-hour readathons where I used to read for like 24 hours straight in a day. You can see those videos later on. And it was during one of those readathons that I read this book for the first time, and I fell in love with it. This book really challenges authority. This book really challenges what it means to be a part of the family and what power dynamics can really mean in a family, essentially. Something that I am pretty sure that you have realized by now is that every family is built on inequality. Certain members in a family get more importance than others, and usually it's the youngest members who are undermined the most. Their opinions don't matter, and they are not really let to flourish in the family environment. And that is something, in my opinion, very toxic. I remember I was reading this book called Seeing Like a Feminist, and in that I was reading about a judge who said that talking about fundamental rights inside a family is like letting a bull into a farm, mainly because he contends that the system of family is always built on inequality. I will now let you reflect on who is the most influential member of your family. Are you one of them? If not, where do you stand? And who is the least influential member in your family? And also try to identify why. Is it because one of them is male or one of them is making more money than the others? And usually it is these two reasons. The gender and how much money someone makes really influences family dynamics a lot. But if those are the things that you're more interested in, you might like Ghachar Ghochar more by Vivek Shanbhag. Purple Hibiscus is very different in its context, but the concepts that it deals with is kind of similar, and I loved reading it. The next book that I'll recommend is also beginner friendly. It's also recommended highly for children as well. It's called Productivity Superhero. I have read tons of books on productivity. Nothing changed me like this book did. If you go through this book, you will be a better, a more productive and a more successful person by the end of next year for sure, because mainly this book has no fluff in it. It's not, BS about, hey, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. Nope, it's all about actionable advice, actionable steps, things that will actually help you become a better person and make a better schedule and lead a better life instead of procrastinating. And I think that is really, really important, being to the point and actually giving actionable advice when you're writing a non-fiction book. Non-fiction books are infamous for saying the same thing over and over again in different words, but this book is not like that, and I'm pretty sure that if you read this book, you will change as a person very soon. The next book I'll recommend is a very simple book, and this book is called Happiness Is by Ralph Lazar and Lisa Swerling. This book is basically a collection of all the Happiness Is pictures, and it's pretty simple, to be honest. Happiness Is was one of those Facebook pages that got really viral when I was in my school days, and I fell in love with it immediately. And this book is a really gentle reminder of all the things worth being happy about. And in case you are someone who struggles to find happiness in this strange world, this book is going to make you really happy. Whenever I'm upset or sad or frustrated or confused, every time I have a negative emotion, I really try to go to this book and read it, and it really reminds me of the little things that do make me happy, that can make me happy. And I feel that is very, very important. A lot of us actually attach happiness with big things and a lot of things, abundance of things. But honestly, happiness is in little moments, little things and little achievements and little sceneries. And I think that is very, very important to remember. So in case you ever forget that, this is the book that will remind you of the same. The next book I'll recommend is called On Writing Well by William Zinsser. This is a book that I recommend for you because I feel no matter who you are, where you are, what you do in life, you need to know how to communicate with people. We are not great communicators. I'm pretty sure like most of us are pretty terrible at communicating, which is why we have very bad relationships, we have huge fights, and a lot of that stems from unhealthy dynamics in our childhood. I remember that for myself, when I was a child, it was always about who is shouting the loudest and not really about who has the better point there in the argument. And I'm pretty sure it's the same for most of us, which is why communication is really flawed in most of us. But you need good communication skills if you want to advance in life, professionally, personally, academically, in your relationships. And this is fundamentally linked to your ability of putting your thoughts into words. And while it might be hard for some of you, as you keep on doing this, you just get better, which is why I highly recommend you to read this particular book. I like it very much, but you can actually read any book that is based on how to put your thoughts into words in order to change yourself or in order to be a better communicator, because I think that can go a really, really long way. It's one of those soft skills that schools do not teach you, but you really, really need to know. The next book I want to recommend is called The Nine-Chambered Heart by Janice Periat. I really had a phase where I was recommending this book in every video about sometime in 2018. But although I'm over that phase, this book still has a place in my heart. I would highly recommend this book for you if you love the concept of love and romance. Even if you do not have a love life, you are going to enjoy this book. This book sees a girl through the lens of the 9 men and women who have loved her or who she has loved in her whole life. And the way everyone pictures her is so different. The images are very, very fragmented. And overall, every time someone is talking about her, she does feel like a different person, which really reminds you that all the people you have interacted with in your life, Everyone remembers you in a different way. You are not one person, you exist, your realities are multiple for different people. And that is such a crazy thought, to be honest, but it's true to a great extent. The Helly you are seeing right now is very different from the Helly someone else is seeing alongside you at the same point of time. And that is very different from the Helly known to her own parents, who think she is absolutely useless, which is again very different from the friends who know me as Saheli or Helly, because they have seen a very different side of me. So each and every person in my life knows me in a very different way. Same for you, same for everyone else. And I think that's like one of the key takeaways I found from this book, which is why I loved it so much probably. But you will like this book even if you like very good writing style, especially if you like lyrical writing style, which is not hard to read. So it's very simple to read. The next book I'll recommend is Kigo Higashino's The Devotion of Suspect X. The only reason I want you to read this is because you will sharpen your brain's detective skills if you read this book. It's about a guy who is in love with a woman. She has a daughter and she has a very abusive ex-husband, and he gets into some issues because of his love for this woman, and the way he deals with them is crazy. A lot of things in Drishyam, one of my favorite movies of all time, are inspired by this particular book. So I'm pretty sure you'll love this book if you have loved the movie. But it's really different. The whole topic, the plot and everything is very different. Just some of the things are very similar. So yeah, I hope that you will pick this book up if you want to sharpen your brain skills. The next book I'll recommend is called How Not to Die. This book is one of the best books ever written on health. It talks about all the things you should do and not do if you want to be healthy for a long time, if you want to take care of the different organs in your body. As someone who has seen a lot of people around me suffer due to issues related to like body parts which can easily be controlled with a proper diet and a healthy schedule. And I would highly recommend this book if you want to take care of yourself, your family, and want to know what are the things you should put inside your body and what are the things you should definitely keep miles away from your body. Because today, especially due to marketing, we are really consuming a lot of harmful stuff just because some celebrities are saying that, oh my god, this is so yummy, but it's really not that not as easy as that. And I think it's very high time that we actually realize that, and also that advertisers become more responsible about their marketing. The last book that I'll recommend will be this collection of Edgar Allan Poe's works. I really wanted to recommend this because I feel once you read Edgar Allan Poe, you never look at death the same way. At the end of the day, death is the ultimate universal truth, although it does make me anxious, as does for some of you. I'm pretty sure it's one of the things that you really need to know about, learn about and deal with, because that's something we will have to encounter as we go on in our lives. We will lose people we love, we will go through really hard times because of this, and eventually we will join them. But this reading Edgar Allan Poe really changes your approach to death, and although it does romanticize it in some sense, but still I do enjoy reading Edgar Allan Poe's works very much, and I feel that so will you. So yeah guys, those will be all the books that I wanted to recommend in today's video. All the links to all these books are in the description below. If you like this video, make sure you give this a big thumbs up and share it with a friend who you think should read more books. And yeah, I will see you guys with another video next week. Till my next video, bye bye.